Chapter 10. Stripey the Super Badger.
Help!
Shouted the children.
Mick! We're going to go over the dam!
Norman was doing his best to pull on the oars, but they were getting nearer to the dam all the time. "Hold on!" shouted Mick as he drove his motorbike towards the lake. He found a lifebelt with a long rope. Mick threw the lifebelt and Kieran grabbed it. Just in time. The boat was nearly going over the edge. But Mick pulled hard and held it steady. Then he pulled it back to the shore. They were safe. "Oh, thanks, Mick. You saved our lives," said Norman. "Never mind about that," said Mick. "We've got to try and save the ponies. Hurry up!" They ran to where they'd seen Barker and Deal with the ponies. Norman was hopping and limping, trying to keep up. Would they get there in time? None of them saw Stripey the Badger trotting through the trees after them.
"Oh, we're too late," groaned Debbie. "Look!"
Barker and Deal were standing by the big van, pushing ponies onto it.
"We'll have a go,"
said Mick, and he ran down the hill, straight at Barker and Deal. "Deal with him, Mr. Deal," said Barker. "My pleasure, Mr. Barker," said Deal. Mick was a strong boy, but Deal was much bigger and stronger. "Anyone else want to try?" said Barker, grinning.
"Me!"
yelled Kieran, and rushed at him. But Barker threw him down easily. "That's that, then," said Barker. "We'd better get going now. Very nice to meet you all." Then he heard grunting and sniffing. He turned round. It was Stripey the Badger. "Oh, good," he said. "I've always wanted a stuffed badger. Lend me your stick, Mr. Deal. I'll knock him on the head." But he did not know how strong and fierce a badger can be. As Barker came towards him with the stick, Stripey went for him and knocked him head over heels. "Help! Help!" yelled Barker in a trembly voice. Deal let go of Mick and went to help. But he stopped when he saw Stripey's fierce face and sharp white teeth. The two other men had seen enough too. They ran off into the trees. Then Debbie heard the sound of a car. It was the police. Then the Badger Man and Jane Miles arrived. "Well done, all of you," said the Badger Man. "You've saved the ponies."
"Not us, really,"
said Debbie.
"It was Stripey, the Super Badger."
It was nearly the end of the holiday. Jane Miles and the Badger Man took the children deep into a secret wood. "Quiet," said the Badger Man. They heard grunting and snuffling. Then they saw him. Stripey, the Super Badger, was with his new family. He had gone back to the wild.
Stripey,
called Debbie softly. He stopped and looked at her with his friendly black eyes. Then he trotted off to his real family. Debbie knew now that he would never be her pet. He had his own mate now, his real Badger girl. And she would go back to her own family, and the chip shop, and the Space Invaders. Bye, Stripey, mate. See you next year.